Hey Tina, hi. Thank you so much for your time, and you were absolutely brilliant in Mumbai Diaries. Like Ananya Ghosh, she is such a rock star. Seriously. So, so
Thank you.
what made you say yes to this particular series and the character?
Well, everything about the project worked for me. Nikhil Advani is an extremely good director in this genre. I mean, other genres as well, but specifically for this, because I think he's. When I watched D-Day, at the interval, I remember my tummy churning because of just how gory he can make things and how like gritty he can make things, and that's exactly what we needed on this show. At the time when I did the meeting for this project, there was nothing about 2611 that had released yet, so it's something I've wondered for a while, why no one had attempted this subject. And so when it came to me that Nikhil's doing it, I just jumped. And Amazon was presenting it. I hadn't worked with Amazon at the time, and they're very big in India, so I wanted to, so everything worked. And then when I read the script, it was very tight. There was a lot of detailing. There were like a million plots for each character, so it was very fast moving. And then my character was also like you said, she's quite a stud, and she's single-handedly managing everything at the hotel from the banquet room perspective, and she does so well. She's uh, possibly 25, 26 years old, obviously got no training in anti-terrorism or any sort of calamity of this nature, and yet she um, is able to take control and is so brave and is so present that she's able to actively help in the rescue of these guests. And so all of that put together as a package, just it was a no-brainer for me.
And it was absolutely a brilliant uh, character for sure. Like I said before,
Thank you so much.
correct me if I'm wrong. Was Ananya Ghosh a fictional character, or was she representing a person who was there in that particular hotel and was saving all the lives inside the hotel who were there, who were caged?
Well, it was loosely based on one of the personnel of the Taj, because there was a rescue operation that happened through the Wasabi, which was on the first floor. So that was what it was loosely based on. But yeah, I mean, of course, the whole personal angle and what exactly happens within the banquet hall, all of that has been fictionalized.
Okay. And what we saw in
Oh, sorry,
Ananya
and to
Ghosh.
add to that, I think
Yeah.
in real life there was a very large HUL conference that was happening, which had global representation. In our story, we've made it about the felicitation of doctors.
Yeah, a
So
medical
that's why it's loosely based. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what we saw in Ananya Ghosh is that she is very confident. She is edgy, of course. But there is this side of hers who is really scared, but she can't show that feeling to the guest, right? So
Exactly.
as Tina in real life, was there ever a moment in your life when you actually felt the same and you were not able to express yourself, when you were helpless maybe, or when you were like little puzzled and you were not able to express yourself in front of your near and dear ones?
No, not
No.
as an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know about as an actor, but um, as Tina, as myself, I've never been in that situation. I'm an extremely expressive person. I cannot hide what I'm feeling. I will have to discuss if I'm in a problematic situation. I discuss it with like 20 people, because I can't until I figure it out in my head. I will counsel with a million people until I'm at peace. And I can't hold it inside. So no, but that's what I found really interesting in Ananya, the fact that she's so young, the fact that she's taken control of this room, the fact that she's still an employee, and so she can't like be dominating or be bossy or whatever. She has to tell them what to do, but she has to be very like polite and soft about it. Yes, like you're saying, she's really afraid, but then she can't show that fear. She doesn't have a game plan. She's just playing it by ear. She hopes it works out. There's so many things going on. um and like I said, it's loosely based on the personnel of the hotel. And when you watch their interviews, which I did in my prep process, all of them talk like so normally. Here they've actually done heroic things, like really saving lives in a situation like this. But when they recount their memories, they talk like as though there was some sort of problem in the kitchen, and they didn't have celery to make a sandwich, and so they sourced it from somewhere, and then they made the sandwich. They make it sound that simple. They're not proud of themselves. And by proud, I mean they don't get ahead of themselves because they did this. They just say we were in this like difficult situation and we did our best and we overcame it. But it's just that attitude, and so that's what I tried to bring to my character. This, no amount of heroism is what she tries to show. It's just trying to like play along, and hope it works out. So yeah, all of those things I thought was great. Nothing like me. I would panic.
Okay, but you like war dramas, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
I love, yeah, absolutely. I've been obsessing over it for the last 2 years, in fact.
Tell me, Tina, how you react when your projects didn't live up to the expectation of the audience? Like you said that you start panicking when in real life. So was there ever a moment when you start panicking when your projects are not up to the expectation like you expected it to be?
Oh yeah, my very first film was this movie called Ye Fasle. It was an art house film. I didn't ever expect it to be a commercial success because I already knew that Mr. Khair and myself, like it was my first movie, nobody knew me. So I knew it wouldn't have an insane audience pull, but I hoped that with word of mouth it would pick up. I also hope that critically it would be appreciated, but it was trashed. It was trashed. And I can't blame them because what I saw as a script and what actually came out as a final product was a huge difference. So I realized that not everything is as simple as I thought it was. I was quite naive at the time. And I was like, oh, if it's a good script, it'll translate well. But there's so many problems that happen during filming, which you cannot anticipate. And so it was a disaster. And obviously, if it's your first film, it can hit you really hard. But I mean, I have a really wonderful family and a really wonderful set of friends, very supportive, great confidence in me. Luckily, even on that film, I had a few national award winning technicians, be it the sound department or editor or whatever, and they were very supportive of me. So even though I knew, I was getting trashed for the film, I knew that the people who have experience was still, standing by me. And then, emotionally, my family and my friends were there. So yeah, I think that's how I made it through. I mean, but also that's what mistakes are for, right? They teach you learn your lessons from them.
Yeah, but looking at your career right now, like you are an international star. We saw some of the Hollywood projects in your kitty in the past. So I mean, if you have to look back at your journey in the industry as an actor, what are the learnings that you took from the industry over the period of time, and how you want to move ahead with those learnings?
I stand by whatever I've done because even though Ye Fasle was a raging disaster, I think it gave me the confidence to do my next film, which was The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Because I mean, here I was dealing with actors as big as Dame Judi Dench and Bill Nye and Tom Wilkinson, and if I didn't have some amount of self-confidence that came from that movie because of how demanding that character and plot was, I would not have been able to face them. I'd have been like, I've not got any work experience. I'd have been shy. I'd have been nervous. I might have screwed it up. But that film gave me that confidence. So I feel like each one's got their journey. The learnings are definitely that nobody knows what they're saying. Everyone's trying to figure it out. However experienced, they still make mistakes. However new they might be in the industry, they can still make gems. So everyone's trying to do their best. Everyone gets it wrong. Everyone gets it right. Also, I've realized that it's like I said earlier, it's not easy to judge how a project will turn out from script to final product because the challenges on shoot are so many. There can be a light problem. Someone could be having a bad day performance wise. They could have a body ache, or they could have a headache, or they could just be having a nervous attack or not be able to perform. The director might be in some mood. He might misinterpret the scene and allow a bad scene to go. Sometimes he can push you. Then just light, like I said, sometimes the sun is setting and you have to like finish it in 15 minutes. Like so many things can happen. There can be an argument between the actor and the director. They can have a fallout. The rest of the shoot can go wrong. And so I feel like when a movie comes out, forget about good or bad, just the fact that it was fully made, that it was even completed, is like it's enough of a triumph, because it's that demanding or that difficult. So I mean, it's very hard to judge. I'm still not in a position to say, this works, this doesn't. I've seen a movie that during the filming felt quite off. but the edit came and made the film such a gem, and that's not obviously not something I could anticipate. So I've just like learned to go with your instincts. If you trust in the team, if you trust in your character and script, you should be able to back it with conviction even 10-15 years later and say, you know what, if I did that film, good or bad, I stand by it. And that's really all that counts. And then the rest of it, everyone just hopes for the best.
That's so
Everyone,
lovely to hear,
whatever their
seriously.
stature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said before, your Hollywood projects are enormous. Like you have done so many projects in the past. So do you think that your Hollywood exposure has somehow helped you in getting the kind of projects that you wanted to do in Bollywood or on OTT platform probably?
I think what it has done is spoiled me in terms of what appeals to me. I mean, there is just there's so much focus on what they do for a living, for a career, that has made me a little bit more greedy in terms of what I look for now. Because I've read scripts where the girl's like an astronaut, where she's a CIA operative, where she's a pilot, where she's a lawyer, she's a doctor, she's a just doing something that's really like cool and out of the ordinary for us as an Indian culture. Because how many people do we know who are fighter pilots or who work as a CIA operative, or let us say the intelligence bureau mole or whatever, so I mean, those are the sort of things I actively seek out now. Luckily, because of the OTT space that is changing. So I mean, a medical drama like Mumbai Diaries didn't happen earlier, like 5 years ago, and now it is. So scripts are changing. The kind of characters that are being written is changing, and so luckily, I'm in a really great time where not only am I aspiring to get it, it's actually happening. So, but yeah, I think I now don't just want to do, even though love is a very complicated emotion, I don't just want to do the love stories. I want to do a bunch of other things.
Wonderful. And we saw you from we saw you from Get Gorgeous days. Like I was literally watching some of your videos before this interview. So
Okay.
From a model to an actor to now an international star, I mean, are you happy with the way your career is moving right now?
I would like to have done 50 more projects in this time, because I'm just that greedy and ambitious. But yes, I think, I think when I decided to be an actor, I only, thought I would possibly be a girl who falls in love. And I was wondering about how I would play the bubbly, charming girl in 20 different ways, because it was very popular to do romantic stories. And then, suddenly the West opened up and I started, I did that in the Marigold Hotel. I haven't done a romantic girl in Indian films, I've done it there. And then Sense8 happened, and that's a science fiction thing, which, again, I thought is quite hard to come by. It's not something that's written very common in India. So just the fact that whole world opened up to me, the fact that OTT developed. When I started acting, there was no Amazon and Netflix and everything. And now that's opened up and it's become such a huge thing. It's actually like threatening films. Like that's a debate, will movie theaters last? So I mean, I've just stopped trying to gauge what I want, because you can't plan these things. There's that line, right? Don't make plans, it makes God laugh. So I think I'm trying to just go with the flow, because there's so many things that have happened in my life that I never even tried aiming for, and it's worked out so well. So off the offers that I'm given, I try to make the most of it, and then the rest of it, I'm just like winging it. It's all good things are happening. Let's just let it just come. There will be a few mistakes along the way. There will be gems along the way. I'm just gonna like enjoy it all.
Okay, and also I was scrolling your social media post and I saw one of your dance video. I think this was during Amazon Mumbai Diaries launch, I think.
Right.
So, and there was this one comment that stated that you should dance more often, right? So, are you willing to do a dance film probably in days to come, because your moves are pretty interesting? I'm sure you are a pro in dancing, I guess.
Well, I'm very happy you say that, because dance is actually something that as a child I was very nervous about. I was very afraid of. I didn't have the confidence to do it. And then, one night when I went out with my friends, I just went really crazy and I started dancing. And I was like, oh, hey, this is not as bad as I thought it was. I always thought it was like this super challenging thing. But no, I have done dancing. My Marigold Hotel Best Exotic Part 2, that had actually, I think, 4 dances. I haven't done anything since. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Sense8 also had a dance. So, yeah, I mean, of course, if something comes along, I'm very happy to do it because anything new that you get to do is fun, right? And I haven't done it in a while. But what's my point? No, there's no point. Yes, of course, I will do it.
Okay, one last thing, Tina, you are also doing Bob Biswas, right? So how is
vaguely allowed to clarify? That has a very
okay, just
strict
a quick
contract.
line from you, like how are you excited for that particular project? Like, are you excited working with Mr. Abhishek Bachchan? Like, how are things shaping up? Ek line mein aap bata do, chalega.
Yes, I am very excited about it. There's so much I'd like to tell you about it, but let's just say it'll be a movie in India after 2013. My last movie was Table 21. So I'm very happy to finally do a movie again, and I hope it gets a cinematic release. I mean, a theater release, sorry. But beyond that, I will go to court if I say anything more. So please bear with me and wait until it's time to say more.
Great, lovely. Well, that's all about it, Tina. Thank you so much for your time. And I think we just have one similarity, which is curly hair.
Curly hair.
So I hope you remember me because of this. Thank you so much, Tina.